Hello, everybody. Today we are talking with our member and our partner from Germany, Digital Opportunities Foundation, Stiftung Digitale Chancen, and we have here Jutta, Croll and Nenja Wolbers. Please, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Hello.
So how are you doing? How are things in Germany, and how All Digital Week is going?
Yeah, well, we had to change a little bit, as everyone, I think. At the foundation, we are now, everyone is working from home, which actually works quite well, I think. We are used to it. So we have colleagues who work not in the Berlin office, but in other cities in Germany. So we kind of know how to deal with the situation, to have a lot of telcos. I mean, now there are a lot more, I think you would all agree. But in general, I think it works quite well. What is nice is that, of course, everyone is still trying to be very social and write some tiny notes in Skype or some messages. How are you? How is everything going? And so on. So that's really good. Yeah, regarding the All Digital Week, of course, this time the face-to-face trainings couldn't happen, but I think in all of Germany now the digital trainings, webinars are more and more, and that is very nice. I think, generally the people are now more open to it, I think, and therefore we have more opportunities to, have webinars and digital content that we create.
Yeah, I can report also from some of our projects that, for example, are working with childcare organizations, educational staff, kindergartens, where we are running a research project. Of course, it's now not possible to do any research and interviews and so on directly in the kindergarten, neither with the educational staff nor with the parents or the children. But the colleagues in that project have just changed their strategy for the moment. They are producing now content to give advice to parents how to cope with the situation when children are at home. Parents need to do home office work. Children need to be educated as well at the same time. How could you use a good quality content for the children so that they can use digital devices if they have them at hand, using apps on tablets and so on, how much screen time would be appropriate. So we are trying to produce this type of content that is now helpful in the specific situation, but that will be also useful in the time after the pandemic.
Yes, all our partners admit that digital transformation in many organizations has been sped up due to the lockdowns. And what do you think is the priority now for your foundation? What support and what information is mainly needed? How do you support your partners? You already mentioned, of course, that you produce new content. Anything else?
Nenja, would you like to report from the Countryside project?
Yeah, that's actually
the elderly people.
Yeah, that came to my mind also immediately, because we have a project where we work with a village in a rural area, and the goal was from the beginning to produce an online app and some training for the people who live there, for the citizens. And this online app was actually to connect them with each other. So to actually, the kind of conversation that they have in their gardens, or I don't know, on the street, to have this also online, to involve the whole village, but also to have, for example, the mayor of this village, that they can actually send easily information to all of the citizens. And we wanted to launch this app, I don't know, maybe at the end of this month, but not now. So we decided actually it would be a really, really good idea to do it now, because now the people have to talk to each other, but they cannot do it anymore on the streets and in their gardens. So this is why we launched this app right now to support them. And on top of that, we feel that this is actually a really good idea for more than just this village, for actually the whole area or whatever. So we are thinking to go into this direction as well.
Yeah, that's very nice. Good luck with this application, and definitely we'll be looking forward to the results and how people are perceiving and accepting it. It might not be that easy with the elderly populations because they need to know how to use.
This is why, sorry, I just, the app is actually going very well. We have already over 100 villagers who actually use it, which is a lot for this first 1.5 week. And the volunteers in the village set up a hotline so that everyone else can call if they have problems with the app. Yeah.
With the elderly people, we are have been running for several years now a project where we bring tablet computers in elderly citizens' homes and make them acquainted with this technology. And usually staff in the organizations also provide training sessions. Of course, that's not possible in the current situation. But on the other hand, we see that especially people living in care are now affected by the situation. In many elderly citizens' homes, we have a contact ban, so visitors are not allowed to come into the homes, and people really feel isolated. And what we've seen is everybody's talking about social distancing. We would say we need physical distancing, but we don't need social distancing as long as people have the competences and the digital media, the infrastructure to keep in social contact with their family, with their friends, and so on. And we've been running the project together with our founder Telefonica and with the hardware provider Samsung. From them we got the tablets, and now we are planning to expand the program to more elderly citizens' homes, just to make it possible that they can talk to their family, to their friends, also those people who are who have not yet obtained the competences. You can easily do that. You have the application for communication directly on the front screen, just one click, and then you can easily have a connection to the people. And even in special cases, when you think about ill people who are in hospice now, maybe they are facing the very last days of their life and cannot be in contact with their family. That is a very, very difficult situation. And digital devices can help to overcome the situation, at least a little bit, having the very last hours or minutes of life, a contact to a person that you know and that is a loved one. And that is very important, and we hope that we can expand the whole initiative to many people to help them staying in social contact when physical contact is not possible.
Yes, definitely. And we also, of course, hope that some sponsors and funders and maybe individual people will be able to support this, maybe donate the equipment and devices. Yes. Yeah, it's really very hard. It's, as we were discussing, that we are all trying to work in the middle of the crisis. And of course, it's very hard mentally and psychologically for many people. How do you motivate your staff? How do you support your colleagues in this crisis situation?
Yeah, as I said before, I think we are really trying to stay in contact, not only regarding work issues, but also just ask how are you and how's everything going, and send a few nice gifts or something just to keep to keep everyone in a good mood. The good thing is at the moment we don't have lack of work, so we are all busy, and so we can put our minds to that. I think that helps a lot.
I do also think that the digital lunch break is a very good idea, that people who don't have around noon a video conference like we have yet just meet, everybody is sitting in front of their computer having their own lunch at home, but talking to each other like being in the office or in a lunch break restaurant, to keep the contact even not only work related, but in a more private way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should offer it to other people as well.
Yeah, it also works for after work drink, actually.
Yeah, happy hours. Happy hours. Yeah, of course, we all need to relax. Is there anything that you have adopted in your work, or you have developed in your work during the past few weeks, that you would want to continue? And it's my next question is about, is there any lesson that you've learned that probably you have changed if you knew it 3 weeks before?
Jutta, do you want to start on that, or should I?
Yes, I can start on that. So, as I said before, we are usually working with target groups that are hard to reach, and in some cases we need to adapt our strategies for them. So, of course, where we have planned face-to-face meeting because people are lacking the basic skills, that would be very difficult to replace that with an online training, for example. I do think that we will learn about the importance of have a blended strategy and adapt it to each of the target groups. And that will continue, of course, also after the pandemic. I also think that one important message that everybody gets from this situation now is that in some cases things can be sped up, that you don't, of course it's always necessary to think about risks that may happen with performing a special project, but in the end you might not take so much time as you did before, and just sped up the process a little bit and come quicker to a conclusion, say, okay, we are now going to do this, and this will be helpful for the groups that we are working with.
Thank you. Nenja?
No, I agree. I think in many projects we actually have already plans or did already some kind of content online, but in others we are still waiting, because as Jutta said, it's not always easy to just go out with this for the certain target groups. Some need actually that we consider them and we consider their circumstances. Maybe they are not online yet, or they have difficulties to do the tasks, to, for example, just access a webinar or something. So we want to keep that in mind to have really the impact that we normally have.
Yeah, I think we all agree that this situation shows very vividly the importance of digital skills, and the work that we're doing is needed. But now that people can realize that without digital skills, it's almost impossible to stay connected nowadays, and it helps to socialize without physical presence.
Yes, I do think that in a certain way it also will have an impact on the debates on environmental issues and sustainability, because now that we are in a special working situation, for example, from my perspective, I can see two things. One thing is my screen time has doubled from 1 week to the next week, because I don't have these social meetings, these physical meetings face to face. So I need to consider my screen time. We are in some cases we learn that we can have more effective shorter meetings because we don't want to sit so long in front of the computer screen looking into other people's rooms. And on the other hand, there is also a thing that I do think we will consider more severely, whether we really need to travel to a meeting or whether we can meet online. I can personally say I have drastically reduced my printing, just because I don't have the same printer that I have in office at home. So I'm training my capabilities to cope with reading on the computer instead of having paper notes. So there will be changes, and I really do think that we see the positive impact also of these changes, and that will carry on after the pandemic.
Yeah, true. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
What is the first thing that you would like to do when the pandemic is over and the lockdown is lifted?
Celebrate that work has been going on, celebrate that we have overcome difficulties, and first and foremost celebrate that digitization of society has taken a huge step under these circumstances, and everybody that has been able to stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Nenja.
That is a good last word, actually. I agree totally.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your work, and best of luck to you and your partners, your colleagues. And most importantly, as we say now, please stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you. You
Same
too.
to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you for your time.